Hi, Kirsten and Christy. So it is actually Monday. Sorry. But, Christy, I already explained this to you. It has been a long couple of weeks, and I didn't even realize Friday was Friday, and yeah. So anyway, I missed my video, but Christy said that if I get it up before her video, then I will not be punished, especially since this video is all about a punishment already. So I don't need another one. So let me get this video up real quick. And today is going to be my review of The Book Thief, which, just take my heart out, rip it from my chest, why don't you? This book was wonderful. I mean, I love books that make me cry. Tears, just rivers running down my cheeks. That's what this book was, and it was simply beautiful. And I mean, not to knock books of our generations, but there's not that many books I feel like that years down the road they'll be considered classics. Whereas this, I feel like, could be. Because it's saying something so profound. And yeah, I think just there are so many books of our generation that wouldn't be considered a classic years from now. But we'll see. Sorry, my phone just went off. But anyway, to get to The Book Thief, story in general, book in general, just overall, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. Like, I want to read this again immediately because I read it so quickly. Only because there were other things going on in my life that I wanted to, I had to do, and then other books I wanted to read, and so I read that really quickly, but I definitely want to reread it, especially now that the movie's out. I want to, hopefully the movie will come to somewhere in my area so I can go see it, and then get my opinions of that, and then I will reread it and hopefully still enjoy it just as much as I had before. But just to give you, I guess, a synopsis, I know Christy and Kirsten, you already read it, but this is the story written from the point of view of Death, and Death is watching over this little girl named Liesel. I think I said that right. I think I said her name wrong before to you, Christy. I think I said Liesel, but it's Liesel, right? Yeah, Liesel. And it goes through her transition of losing her mother and her brother and earning these new adoptive parents in a whole new area. And it's her story of living with these two people and dealing with the Holocaust, really, World War II. And through these new parents, she meets other characters like her friend Rudy and the mayor's wife, and of course Max. Oh, Max. And yeah, so she meets a bunch of characters, and I don't want to give it too much away because I don't know who watches this, but no spoilers hopefully here. But yeah, so it's just she's meeting all these different types of people, and that's, I think I'll leave the synopsis of that because I think I'll go through it as I go through each character, because I do want to talk about each character a little bit, because I feel each character, they were just so interesting. I feel like they were really well rounded, and I wanted to know each person's story. So I mean, there have been other books that I've read, I'm like, okay, that's just some kind of flat character. This is some kind of character I don't need to really know about. They're just in the background, kind of. But these characters were just so interesting, and I wish I could see their point of view of this book, of this time period, really, of World War II. I would like to see that and see their thoughts. I really enjoyed Liesel, yes. I really enjoyed her as our protagonist, I guess you could say. Yes, she's our protagonist. And just how she interacted with the other people. I loved Hans. I think he's such a great father figure for just anyone in general to have, and then just as a character in this book, based on all the negative things that are happening, he's just a bright shining light of hope, really. And it's nice to see how he reacts to taking on this new daughter, this young girl, and seeing that she's obviously having some kind of trouble, but he's still able to connect with her with reading and writing and going through the grave digging book that she had and found. Um, but yeah, I really admired Hans as a character. Um, Not that I don't have a good dad, but I kind of wish that he was my dad. Yeah, I feel like, huh, he kind of gives you like a sigh of relief, and I know I'm not explaining it really well, but if you read it, you just want to like snuggle him and just give him lots of hugs. So yeah, and coincidentally, which is is really funny, um, I guess would this be irony? I don't know. People mix up coincidences and ironies too much, and now I feel confused. But Hans is so loving, and Rosa, his wife, is just so strict, and it's interesting to see the dynamics of that relationship, especially how they both treat Liesel, sorry, and but yeah, like Rosa just wraps her up. Okay, we have to do this. We have to do the laundry business, and you're my partner now, and you have to do this and this and this, and it, she I don't know how to describe it, but she doesn't give Liesel the time to wallow in her own self pity, which at first I guess could be taken in a negative way. She's just so strict and she just wants Liesel to help her in the business. But I really see it as she didn't want to pity Liesel in any way. Bad things happen to people all the time, and there's no point in reminiscing and thinking about the past. You just have to keep going. And I really admired that about Rosa as well. And that's why I think Hans and Rosa made such a good, um, um, made such a good, what's the word? Partnership, I guess. They just made really good characters to put together. And I wish more people could be like that in a way. Just have that type of relationship, especially after Hans is sent away. He's like recruited to go to war, and Rosa keeps playing the accordion. Oh my gosh, I just wanted to cry, and I probably did, and because I cried so much during this book. But it's like even though she's strict, you can see that she still she loves him, and they have a loving relationship. And it's really nice. I liked it. Um, as for another cute and adorable relationship, Rudy, I adored Rudy, and it's so sad what happens, but in the end, but it just when he's trying to get the kisses from Liesel, Chrissy, I was mentioning this to you, um, just picturing him in the movie and just hearing his cute little German accent saying, "I want kisses from you," or whatever. I can't do an accent, but I just thought it would be really adorable, and he's such a strong character because I feel like he really tries to stand up for Liesel, especially when um, she goes to save Max. After Liesel goes to save Max when he is caught, and he tries to pull her away and try to protect her and keep her at bay for a while instead of continuing to get beaten. And I don't know, it's a cute relationship, but again, no, I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's sad. I can't say that enough. Just rip your heart out because this book has it. This book is gripping my heart still. Um, what else can I talk about? Oh, the mayor's wife. I enjoyed her character as well. At first, I was very suspicious of her, and I don't know if anyone else was, but for some reason, I'm like, why is she being so nice? You see a little girl steal a book that's not supposed to be taken from the fire, and yet you reward her. So I was kind of cautious at first with her, but I was really happy to see that she turned out to be a nice woman, and she was willing to share her library with Liesel. It was disappointing to see how Liesel treated her in return, especially after what had happened. After after the mayor's wife told Rosa that, and well, actually told Liesel that they could no longer pay Rosa to do the laundry and that they were going to do their own laundry from now on. And Liesel took it really hard, I guess, but she reacts so harshly towards the mayor's wife, and starts sneaking in to the mayor's wife's library and taking books, but it's still a good relationship because the mayor's wife still has faith in Liesel and still enjoys knowing that she's getting something out of her library. She just merely says, okay, well, you don't have to come through the window anymore. Just come knock on the door. So, I don't know. I enjoyed it. And I love the fact that it's through the mayor's wife that Liesel gets the Black Book, and that's how she starts writing her own story. And it's really interesting to see that after Liesel writes her own story, she comes to realize that in the beginning of the book she didn't know what words were. She couldn't read, she couldn't write. And then at this point she's writing her own book of her own life, and she realizes how cruel words are. How I wrote a quote, let me find it. I wrote notes, and I'm not doing a good job of following them, but I did write notes as I was reading. She says, I have hated the words and I have loved them, and I hope I have made them right. And I love that. I mean, you hate words in the fact that you don't like what you're writing about, I guess. Especially, this is such a horrible time. But you love the fact that you have the ability and the freedom to write and to read. It's just a bummer what she has to write about. As simple as that. It's a bummer. And yeah, I guess especially when you're writing your own perspective of something that has happened, you can only hope that you do it justice and you make it right. And I don't know, it's something that you can really take to heart, and you can really admire in someone. Not only just to write their own story, but to even say those words and to say that you hope you made the story right. You hope you've given it justice. So I really like that. Besides that, I think you can't not talk about this book without talking about the ending, the last sentence. Years after everything has happened and Death meets up with Liesel. And of course I'm skipping a lot of things. I mean, this is a pretty thick book. I don't want to give it all away, but right at the end, when Death meets up with Liesel again, because she is one of the only survivors, hint hint. But what he says when he says that I guess he's coming for her because it's her time, and he remarks that he found her book, the little black book that she wrote of the story of her life, and she's like, well, were you even able to understand it? Could you understand it? And like his only remark is that let me get this right. I am haunted by humans. Yeah, that's what he says. I am haunted by humans. And that's just, it's crazy. It's so crazy. I love it. Just like when you read it, when you're coming to the end, your heart is already beating, first of all, because you're like, I just went through this whole book and now it's coming to an end. And then he ends it that way, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's such a good sentence. And I always read the last sentence, and I don't think I read the last sentence of this first because I knew I had to read it anyway because it was my punishment. But it's just like profound. It's so profound just to think that this is Death talking, and he is saying he is haunted by humans, and that's crazy. I can barely wrap my head around it. I am haunted by humans. I like saying it. I don't know. I like saying that though. I am haunted by humans. Such tragedy has happened, and yet he, as Death, can't even believe what has happened in these years. Humans are scary. And this book was wonderful. So even though it was a punishment, it was by no means a punishment to read. Thank you so much for making me read this. I really appreciate it, and I cannot wait to read it again. Chrissy, I will see you tonight, actually. Bye.